first introduce my company. So this is Bayside, which is a logistics company. We operate all over the Philippines. We also operate internationally. We do air, land, sea. We do terminal services. We provide carrier services, etc., etc. I've been in the shipping and logistics business for the past 30 years plus. So, baby pa lang po ako nagtatrabaho na ako sa shipping. Okay, so as you could see, we practically cover everything about logistics. You name it, warehousing, container depot, trucking, logistics, whatever, shipping agency, freight forwarding, air freight forwarder, whatever. There, we operate all over the country. And because of this, I will connect all of this, I will connect the dots later on. Because of this presence all over the country, we are able to do a lot of things, especially sa market linkage. Okay? Okay, so that's who we are, that's what we do. And then another company is Toko, which is about 3 years old. I organized this because I have become heavily engaged in the agriculture sector. I am the president of the Natural Farmers Movement in the Philippines. I also operate the Facebook of that. I'm the administrator for that. We have already 25,000 members in that Facebook alone. All farmers or involved in farming. I'm also last year I was the erstwhile chairman for the Plantacion de Sicuate, which is a cacao growers association, the biggest in the whole country. I have represented the cacao growers in meetings, in meetups with the Federation of Filipino American Chamber of Commerce in Arizona and in Los Angeles before. And that has brought a lot of attention from markets to look at the Philippines as a possible source of fruits and vegetables. How did we put up this company? Like I said, initially I attended the seminars of natural farming, Korean natural farming, and later on Jadam. Okay. So I attended this because I discovered that this is the cheapest way to do agriculture. You don't buy chemicals, you don't buy pesticides, you create them out of the organic materials around your farm. Magic. So we can bring down the cost of production as low as we want for the farmers. Of course, it entails a lot of teaching. So a lot of our group members, you are with the natural farming, right? A lot of our group members are going around the country conducting seminars and teaching the farmers how to do that. Against the old system of chemical farming. Okay. But one day I realized that if every one of us are already in the production and teaching side, who's taking care of sales and marketing? If nobody's doing that, di wala rin, useless dito ginagawa natin. So I decided to put up this company called Toko, so that we will take care of market linkage, we will take care of sales, we will take care of even the logistics to set this all up, so that we can help the natural farmers. Of course, it's no longer just the natural farmers now. It has become more generic. It's the farmers, right? So what do we do? Using the leverage of this logistics company, we are now doing this very effectively. I think very effectively already. You know, when you do something, just for the information of everybody, if you go inside the grocery store and you look at the product there, any product, and if the price is 100 pesos, 50% of that is already logistics. So if you do not control your logistics, you are already losing out. You are not competitive at all. That's why when I started doing this, I just stumbled into this. This is not something that I wanted to do, but I stumbled into it out of love for the poor farmers. I pitied the farmers. Kanina, there was a mention about these greedy middlemen, etc., etc., etc. Maybe they're greedy, yes, but they are only doing business. Why are they there in the first place? The middlemen are there as a consequence of the lack of enablement and empowerment of the farmers. They could not do it themselves, so there is a huge vacuum to deliver the goods of the farmers to the market. So somebody comes in, does those services, provides it to the farmers, provides it to the buyer, hence you have middlemen. So we should not be looking at the middlemen in a very, very bad light. We should look at them in terms of the failure of our government, in terms of failure of our systems. Because without them, how can it be delivered to the markets? The goods will perish, that's spoiled, and the farmers lose more without these traders. Having said that, I do not classify myself as a trader. That's why I keep using the word market linkage, because that is what I do. Okay, why tuko? Tuko is very Filipino. Anybody around the world, any OFW around the world, if you see the word tuko, obviously they will say that's Filipino, right? But tuko, we use the word tuko because of natural farming as well. If you have tuko in your farm, then it means your farm is green, your farm doesn't use chemicals, because using chemicals will kill all the insects, which is the food of the tuko. You drive away the tuko from your farm, that means your farm is no longer healthy. So as long as you have the balance of nature within, the tuko should be there. And in the evening, if you hear the sound of the tuko in the evening, you should be happy. In the Visayan culture, by the way, they say tuko is good luck. I was surprised to hear that. Okay, let me tell you some anecdotes first so that we can connect all of this together. How did it happen that I became involved in the market linkage team? Like I said, I studied natural farming. I became one of the major proponents. I even became the president of the Natural Farmers Movement of the Philippines. And then I decided to help them by exporting. So I started getting the Cavendish bananas, the pineapples of South Cotabato, and delivering them through the port of General Santos, shipping them to Dubai. And I even went to Dubai. I even opened up a company in Dubai for the market linkage, for marketing. When I arrived there, I started knocking on doors of the Arab buyers. The Arabs tell me, Mr. Rene, let's not even discuss about bananas and pineapples. I came here to talk to you about pineapples and bananas. I said, no. That is mature business. Let's not discuss that anymore. Let's discuss something that we can develop. I said, like what? I said, I want you to deliver to me all fruits and vegetables of the Philippines. And he started naming them up. I said, avocado, chico, guyabano, langka. They're very, very knowledgeable. Maybe because they have a lot of Filipinos there. So I told him, wow, that is wonderful. And he kept on telling me, he said, in the middle of our, this is a chain of grocery stores. Sabi niya, in the United Arab Emirates, all of our grocery stores, we would like to put in the middle of our grocery stores a huge round area with the Philippine flag flying there, and all of your produce there all around. And I will hire 3 or 4 Filipino women wearing Filipiniana clothing, dancing through Filipino music. I said, why are you going to do that? That is the work of my government. If they are not doing it, but why would you be doing it? Sabi niya, simple. Marketing. It will drive the whole Filipino population into our stores. And in the United Arab Emirates, 50% of the whole population is Filipino. I thought, wow, what a smart guy. So initially I was so happy. This is a market. It's a newly developing, opening market to us, to me. And then I realized the major problem that we have. We do not have plantations. We only have backyard. Everything is backyard mode. So that's like pouring cold water on my head. Suddenly I realized the incapability of the Philippines to meet the market demands of the world. We are not ready. We are not prepared. We do not even have an iota of an idea of what the market is outside. Nothing. Number one. Number two, anecdote. I'm visiting the United States. I have a daughter there, so I go to the United States every now and then. And immediately as I land in the US, I go straight to the grocery stores. I don't know why I do that, but I go straight to the grocery stores. I immediately go to the tropical produce product section, and I spy on all the products that are being sold there, thinking that I should be able to export to the United States as well. And I look around. I see steamed hito, okay, mudfish. I see steamed hito cut into slices, vacuum packed, frozen. And lo and behold, it's not from the Philippines. It's from Thailand. I see some palok, it doesn't come from the Philippines. It comes from Vietnam. I see a lot of things there. Nothing comes from the Philippines. The only thing that comes from the Philippines is those that are being sold by Dole and Del Monte. And I begin to think about it. I said, why is it like this? Why is it Dole and Del Monte only? Or the big multinationals, or the big large corporations that can export? So I will go back to the Philippines. Now, take note, I'm in the logistics business. Our responsibility in our services includes the processing of exports. Kami yung nagpo-provide ng processing ng export. Customs broker, we do the tracking, we do everything. And we're aware of all the certificates that are needed so that an export will occur. If you don't have any of those certificates, you can't do it. You need HACCP, HACCP, you need GMP, you need kosher, halal, you need all the certification from USFDA, USFDA, Australia, Japan, etc., 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 EU. You need all of that. Without those, you can't export. You need phytosanitary inspection certificates. What is this? A phytosanitary inspection certificate is issued for fresh produce that has passed through a certified toll packing facility. Do we have that? We don't have it. We don't have it. The only ones that I have are the ones that I rent in Mindanao for the pineapples and the bananas. But then we have that because we are copying what Dole and Del Monte is doing privately. So we are able to export. Without all of that, we are incapable, unenabled. Okay, I'm mentioning two keywords here that I will continue to repeat and repeat because these are the things, these are the major concepts that are missing in our system in the Philippines. Enablement, okay, and empowerment. Our government since 1946, Independence Day, has never empowered the farmers. Never. What is empowerment? What is enabling? Simple. Let me ask two questions lang so that you will understand what I'm talking about. From 1946, wag na lang yung before that. Just 1946 when we declared independence. Number one question. Do our farmers today, much like their grandparents 70 years ago, 1946, are they still tilling the soil using carabaos? Yes. So from 1946 until now, virtually nothing has changed. They're still plowing the fields with carabaos. Second question. Very basic lang ito. Are our farmers today, much like their grandparents since 1946, are they still drying their grains on the paved roads? Yes! Our government has not provided mechanical dryers, has not provided the sheds. Hello? All of the billions or trillions of pesos that have been spent from 1946 until now has not identified the needs of the farmers and has not met those needs. So therefore, two words, enablement and empowerment. They have not enabled the farmers, they have not empowered the farmers. So I began to ask myself the question, why so? I'm very analytical in all these things. I realized that there is a basic reason, an origin of all, the culprit of all of these problems. You know what it is? Please, I am not disrespecting anybody here, neither individuals nor institutions. But what I can see is this, the blind cannot lead the blind. If you don't know it, you cannot teach it. And if you teach it, you're teaching the wrong things because you don't know it. What do I mean? Let's go back to the agricultural colleges and schools. Let's look at UPLB, the principal agricultural school in the country. So I asked a lot of agriculture graduates, Do you know marketing? Wala naman eh. We are not taught marketing there is no marketing in our curriculum. Asa? Do you know value chain system? Oh, no, we don't know anything about it. Do you do entrepreneurial development in your agricultural college? No. Guys, the blind cannot teach the blind. The deaf cannot teach the deaf. So, medyo malalim na yung, my analysis is going deeper, and I'm beginning to see where it is all coming from. So we graduate people from our agricultural colleges who become deans later on, and what do they teach? They teach what they learn. But since they did not learn about entrepreneurial development, they did not learn about marketing, they did not learn about salesmanship, ergo, we farmers are left at our own devices. We have to take care of ourselves. And how do we take care of ourselves? Because of that, because of the whole system, our system I would classify as production-led. The farmer will go out there and plant whatever he wants to plant, or he spies on his neighbor planting corn, he would also plant corn. And when you ask him, why is it that you're planting that? Because this is the only thing that my father taught me. Right? This is the only thing that my father taught me. He never taught me any other thing, and so therefore I only plant corn. But you said last year it was already failure. Why are you still planting that? I don't know anything other than this one, so I have to keep on planting it. Even if he's already losing, he has no choice but to plant the same crop. I mentioned the word production-led. What is the antidote of production-led? Obviously, you mentioned it earlier, it's market-driven. But in the system that we have in the entire country, how can we make it market-driven? If our government does not even know marketing, how can it be market-driven? So therefore, this responsibility falls on us, private initiative. We have no other recourse but to do it ourselves. How do we do it? Somebody mentioned about apps. I think Ramon mentioned that earlier. Diba? Listen to this idea, guys. Let's just say we create an app, which is almost like we borrow from the concept of Grab, right? Everybody can download on his cell phone Grab, the app Grab, and then you can order taxi, you can order a car anywhere you are. I think you're beginning to see the drift of where I'm going to right now. If Tuko develops an app and have it downloaded by all the farmers nationwide, then I can begin to make it market-driven. I can ask the profile of all the farmers. It will enter my data coding. It will enter my laptop, and I can see if I need, let's say, 100 tons of squash. How would I know? How could I order 100 tons of squash from the farmers? I would just create a text blast to all the farmers who downloaded the app and say, can you supply squash and how much and when are you harvesting? And he comes back to me and I will collect all the data and I will create 100 tons of squash and I will come back to my international buyer and say, yes, now I can do it. Because I already have the basic information. I can do it. And once it gives me the PO and the LC, I will now send an e-PO, electronic PO, to everybody concerned. And I will tell them, why don't, okay, you plant 1 ton, I will buy it. You plant 1 ton, 2 tons, 5 tons, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm already insured of the supply. And then my logistics will come in, collecting, consolidating all the supplies into one place, and we'll be able to do it already. It seems very easy, isn't it? Right? And then they come back to me and say, but sir, we need seeds, we need fertilizers, we need technology. Then my company probably will come in and say, okay, we'll supply you all of that, but we will offset it when we harvest, when we buy your goods, we will offset it and we will be the one to do it. When you really think about marketing, sometimes you just need to be creative. Nobody's going to teach you about it. The needs of the environment, the people around you, will be the one to tell you how you are going to do it. And exactly that's how this started. Out of pity for the farmers, we just wanted to help them. In Mindanao, I went around here in Metro Manila and I discovered that somebody needed a lot of langka. So I went back to Mindanao and then I started knocking on the doors and I realized, oh my God, it's really just backyard. 1 tree here, 1 tree there, 1 tree here, 1 tree. You know, it's just so difficult to do. And I had to organize. I had to get people on motorcycles going around to get all the langka, blah, 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 blah. Deliver them to one place. Eventually, I asked them, you cannot even make himay. You know, yung tanggalin mo yung rind and then just, because we're just buying the, it's only the meat that we want. Not even the seeds, just the meat. And then I realized, oh my God, so many problems. It will be spoiled. It's so easy to spoil. In one day, the langka spoils, so we have to wash it, and then we have to pack it, and then I realized we even need to do blast freezing already. So I started doing everything by ourselves, and then, because I'm already in logistics, that is the easiest part for me, we started shipping it by air to Metro Manila. You know, shipping by air is also very, very difficult. If you are not in the logistics business, you cannot get the space. You cannot get the best freight. Patay ka. But because I'm in logistics, therefore, I leverage it to be able to do all of these things. Lo and behold, last year, we were doing 100 tons of langka meat, langka bulb, they call it. We were doing 100 tons of that monthly, and by January today, this year, the order is already 300 tons. What made me do this langka? Well, Secretary Manny Piñol, during the time that he was the DA Secretary, announced, do you know, guys, that in 2017, the langka import bill from Vietnam was 500 million pesos? That crushed me. We are giving away our own money, 500 million pesos, to the Vietnamese farmers rather than giving it to the Filipino farmers who need it very, very badly. So, that's started it all. It's market. We have the markets. Why can't we supply our market? Well, our issue here is disconnected. Everything is disconnected. DA doesn't know what it's doing. Really. You know, I sat here, and Yusek Lavinia was here, and she gave a talk about high-value crops. As soon as she sat down, binulungan pa siya. Ma'am, parang mali yata yung report. Sabi niya, what is wrong? Ako po yung pinakamalaking langka trader. Tapos nire-report nyo sa Southern Mindanao, 0. Ako nga yung pinakamalaki eh. O, di ba? She comes back to me and says, hindi, kasi 5-year-old na yung statistics na yan. Now, that story is no disrespect to Yusek Lavinia. That story is merely to point out the problems that we in the Philippines face. We are so disconnected. We don't have the right statistics. We don't even have the right goals. I even now question, does the DA has a vision at all? You know, they're so good in talking about road mapping. So, bakit ka mag-road map agad? Dapat gawa ka muna ng vision. Then you make a strategy. Out of the strategy, you make a lot of policies. And then you go to road mapping. And then I realized the answer immediately. They do road mapping because that is the quickest way to bring out the budget. Di ba? That's the quickest way. But they did not start from the vision. So therefore, all of the things that they do downstairs to bring out the money, to bring out the budget, does not connect to each other. Every project, every strategy, everything that they do are disconnected with one another. And again, that reflects on UPLB. Why? The culture in UPLB is you make a project, bahala ka, they don't even connect with each other. So they bring that culture to DA. You enter DA, you talk to everybody there. Everybody, every division, every section has their own project. They are not connected with one another. There is no national sense of meeting up there to create a national direction. Nothing. Again, no disrespect to the DA. Inabutan na lang din naman ng mga tao yan doon. Okay. Having said that, what do we want to do? Marketing, both foreign and domestic. Foreign, I've been talking about that. No? But we are not ready. We are not prepared. Just yesterday, I was talking on the phone with Secretary William Dar. I told him, sir, I already emailed you. This is, by the way, before I say this, I went to DA again and I asked the question there, do you even have a tropical fruit tree plantation strategy? What is the answer? None. None. If you don't have a tropical fruit tree plantation strategy, how can you supply avocado? How can you supply langka? How can you supply chico? How can you supply guyabano? How? You don't have a strategy. From 1946, can you just imagine this? From 1946 until now, it has always been rice-centric. They are not even discussing about all the other crops. And if they do, it's just on the side. Okay? I submitted, 2 years ago, I submitted to DA a project to plant underneath the coconuts in the Calabarzon area, 400,000 hectares to plant cacao underneath the coconuts. You remember I was talking about the cacao here many times. We submitted to DA. Guess what? Until now, ni honey ho, wala. But had they planted that, because that was more than 2 years ago, we should be harvesting by now, and we should have catapulted the country to become the biggest cacao grower in Asia, because that is 400,000 hectares. And the coconuts will also be enjoying it because as you fertilize your cacao, the coconuts are also being fertilized. Wala. So yesterday I was talking to William Dar. I told him, sir, I submitted to your office by email and also to the high value crops and to your marketing division this two-pronged strategy. First is a tropical fruit tree plantation strategy. The second one is you create a value chain system. Because if you produce the fruits but you don't have a processing plant, hindi wala din. By the way, I'm working with Dan Baron, who gave a talk here the other day. I wasn't here then, but we are principal author of that Project Maganda in General Santos. We're working on that together. We're inviting a lot of investors to come in for that because it will really transform the whole area. So, two-pronged. Magtanim ka muna, sabi nga sa Tagalog pag walang tinanim, wala namang aanihin So, magtanim ka muna. And then you create the toll packing processing facility so that may pupuntahan yung produkto mo. The reason why they don't have a market is because they are just relying on fresh fruits. To what extent can you consume all the fresh fruits? So you must be processing it as well. Okay, related to that, what is the reality in the field? Let's say mango. When the farmer who owns a lot of mangoes harvests, he's not the one who harvests, by the way. He already sold all these mangoes long before, right? There's a contractor who comes in and says, I will buy per tree, 3,000 pesos per tree. Okay, how many trees? 1,000. Oh, may 3 million na kagad siya. Happy na siya doon. Where's the problem? When they harvest all of that, take note that there are classification on mango. There's class A, there's class B, there's class C. Class A is called Hong Kong standard. Why Hong Kong standard? Because Hong Kong is the biggest buyer of our mango, and so you have to meet the standards of Hong Kong. That's why they call it Hong Kong standard. But what happens to class B? What happens to class C? Diyan papasok si Dizon. Diyan papasok si Pro Foods. Diyan papasok yung iba't ibang mga processor. And they buy at 5 pesos per kilo. Now, why would a farmer be forced to sell at 5 pesos per kilo? Because he's not enabled. Diba? He's not empowered. He cannot deliver it to a non-existent toll packing facility. Dapat sana, dadalhin na lang niya doon at doon niya ipoproduce and turn it into what? Mango candies, etc., etc. Okay. Which leads me to another point. In the agricultural system in the Philippines, mind you, I am not really an expert. Whatever I say here are based on my analysis and experiences. Okay? If you appreciate it, thank you. If you don't, please don't quarrel with me afterwards. Sorry, naputol ako So in the Philippines, we do not enable, we do not empower our farmers. There are no toll packing facilities all over. Do you know what Vietnam just announced a month ago? They just announced a shift in national strategy. What did Vietnam announce? They announced that they will shift from rice production into tropical fruit tree because there is higher value added in tropical fruit tree. They are only selling their rice at mere, 10 pesos equivalent here for us, whereas a tropical fruit tree would sell at 100 pesos per kilo. Why would you do that? Because in Vietnam, the government is thinking about taking care of their farmers. They want to pull the farmers from the bottom rung of the society to the middle class. In the Philippines, it's the reverse. In the Philippines, the whole system puts the farmer at his level and says, no, you stay there because we need a raw mats producer. And it's the oligarchs, the multinationals, the large corporations that are supported. Why did I say that? Take, for example, the coconut. I have been espousing that the mature coconuts for now should be allowed to be exported. Why? Because the multinationals and the big corporations, the big buyers are only buying it at 3 to 4 pesos per nut. Whereas the world market will buy it at 10. Well, why would we impoverish our farmers? Why is the government doing that? Then I realized the answer. CIIF. Government is protecting the CIIF. CIIF RBDs, refined, bleached, deodorized, blah, 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 blah. Those are the ones who produce the coconut cooking oil that you have. Why? Because the oil industry worldwide has become so competitive. The soybean oil is very low. The Malaysian palm oil is very low. All the other oil vegetable oil in the world has become so competitive that they have gone down. The prices have gone down. What will the coconut industry do? So what they did to survive, sila lang ang magsusurvive, they brought down the buying price of the coconut to the lowest. What does that mean? It means the farmer is the one bearing the brunt of all of this. Am I right? The farmer is the one bearing the brunt, he's carrying on his shoulders. After he has been hit with the coconut levy that he cannot use even now, they're hitting him again with the lowest prices in the market. So, what is going to happen? Well, we're going to have a lot of coconut lumber. I'm sure about that. You know, the langka, for example, when I arrived in Mindanao, when I started buying the langka, you know what the farmers told me? Sabi nila sa akin, Sir Rene, buti na lang namimili ka na. Bakit? Puputuli ko na lang eh. You think the farmers are stupid? They are not. If you are not buying their produce, they will cut their trees. This is the reason why cacao has not taken off for a long, long time because there was no buyer. And they were, after planting it for 3 years, wala naman bumibili. Putulin na lang natin yan. And you have to start over and over and over again. We, in this country, we do not build industry. I don't know if you will agree with me, but everybody does plant anything around there and nobody consolidates it so that it becomes a major industry. Unlike Thailand. Thailand has the sampalok industry. You are importing the sampalok from them. They have langka strips, they have dried chips, they have, now they have pulled pork from langka. They are developing, their R&D is churning out so much scientific researches, etc. to build industries. In the Philippines, all of these theses, all of these developmental works are all there at UPLB in the library. They are not being pulled out and given to the corporations so that they become developmental and they produce employment in the field. Why is poverty in the Philippines? 80% of the national poverty is in the rural area. What does that mean? It means DA goofed. DA is in charge of all rural development for farmers. So if the farmers are poor, therefore DA goofed. Sad. All the billions they are spending and yet the farmers are the poorest. 80%. Of course, you can debate on me on that, but the numbers show it. 80% of national poverty is out there in the rural sector, and that is mainly the farmers. Okay, let me proceed. Haba, no? Okay, Tuko does wholesale and bulk distribution for now. Sabi nga nitong kasama natin dito, ako pala nagsusupply sa kanya. We are developing langka, we are developing guyabano, we are developing passion fruits, ube. I like to buy all your ube. I need all the ube I can get. We buy all of that. Slowly but surely, I'm turning it around and making it market driven. I'm beginning to talk to the farmers and say, can you plant ube? I mean, yes. How much ube can you plant? How many hectares? Blah, 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 blah. Then I give him already an advance PO. If I give him an advance PO, it means I'm going to buy his ube 8 months down the road. So, sige na, magtanim ka na. And he comes back to me even and say, sir, you know what, kailangan ko ng konting tulong. Oh, sige, tulungan kita. Pero offset ko yan sa PO ko. Somebody has to do this thing and change the whole system in our country. Okay? But that creates a lot of stress and pressures on us, on me. I need to talk to guys like Mr. Yupanco here to buy our produce, right? Because without them buying it from us, we cannot develop it in the farm side. We need to connect with everybody, the hotels, the caterers, the food processors, everybody. Now that is B2B, business to business. What is the constraint of business to business? You can only move with a PO. If Mr. Yupanco here gives me a PO for 1 ton of langka, for example, I can only buy 1 ton of langka in the market because that is the only PO I have. Otherwise, masisiraan ako. So therefore, I need now to develop another side, which is the B2C. B2C is retailing. Okay? I'm thinking about setting up various 7-Eleven type of stores, retail stores all over the country, getting all the produce of the provinces and bringing them there, if I can get the investments for it. Then maybe we have to go online. We have to do deliveries by online. All the vegetables, all the fruits. In Mindanao, a group of farmers approached me and told me, sir, we can produce even 1,000 tons of vegetables. Different types of vegetables. In fact, we are already shipping it. And I look at their records, I said, yes. Yes, they're doing it. We can compete. We can provide when Benguet cannot supply, we can supply. We can do it. And I already have all the major components of success. We already have the logistics. 50% of the job is already done. What is lacking? Lo and behold, the vegetable farmers I discovered, like everyone else, they don't have packing facilities. They don't have processing facility. So what do? They just put everything in a carton box and ship it, and then obviously pagdating dito, just like the Benguet shippers, pagdating dito, 20 to 30% of the vegetable products are reject, and then the farmer's income goes down. So we need to empower the farmers. We need to create toll packing facilities all over the land to absorb all of the produce of the farmers and ship them in quality, world standard mode. Without that, we cannot even think of exports. How can you export when your products are rejects? Am I connecting to everybody? Hindi ho ba? We don't have standards. So kami, we have to go all over, knocking on doors, showing them on the laptop or PowerPoint presentation. Ito ho yung standards. Ito yung Class A, ito yung Class B, ito yung Class C. The farmers don't even know that. Para sa kanila, hindi. Pakyawin mo na lahat. The DA is espousing the bagsakan markets. What is the bagsakan market? So I go around, check, ano yung bagsakan market? Andiyan sa semento, nakalatag ang mga vegetables dyan. And the prices are the lowest. Kaya nga bagsakan. The prices are the lowest. You think that's gonna help the farmers? As a matter of fact, I even believe that is the major cause of impoverishment. When you provide a wrong solution to a problem, you are exacerbating a problem. Can you just imagine, nakalatag sa lupa. I visited mango shippers. I look around, they are harvesting. Lo and behold, they allow the fruit to drop on the soil, on the ground. Hindi yan siya HACCP. Hindi yan siya GAP. They don't even know. So how can you help them? How can you help them export when doon pa lang reject na yun? When a fruit lands on the soil, reject na yan. And I learned the hard way. When I was in Dubai, my buyer called me. Pagbukas ng container ko ng pinya, sabi niya, he got a knife and he showed me. Halika, Mr. Rene, sabi niya, I'll show you something. He sliced the pineapple in the middle and opened it up. Lo and behold, maitim ang loob. Shock ako. I didn't know. Why is it black in the middle, in the inside? Alam mo, sabi niya lang sa akin, Mr. Rene, nahulog yan sa lupa. See? Do our farmers even know that? They don't know that. Tinatapon-tapon nila yan, nahulog yan, okay lang yan, basta bebenta na natin yan. They don't even look at the future, the continuity of business, the standards of fruits and vegetables. They don't know that. They don't talk about it. Nobody teaches them. I get orders of white copra by hundreds of container loads to be shipped. I said, what is white copra? So they showed me the pictures. The copra is really white. Dry and white. I said, paano nangyari yun? Lahat ng nakita ko sa Pilipinas, binibilad sa kalsada, binibilad sa lupa. And they're all filled with soot and aflatoxins. That is why we have to go through an RDD operations, refine, bleach, deodorize, to produce the coconut oil, cooking oil. Indonesia is already doing white copra. How do they do that? Simple. Binigyan sila ng gobyerno ng mechanical dryers. In the Philippines, nagbibilad pa rin sa gitna ng kalsada. So if our DA, DTI, DOST do not even know what they're doing, and they cannot direct us to the right paths, you think 20 years from now we will still be the same? We have been the same in the last 70 years. Maybe another 20 years, ganito pa rin tayo. So therefore, sa atin here, we are talking here, private initiative, let's do it. Let's find those ways to solve the problem. Sorry. I have a very, very long way to go before I even reach a level of marketing leverage in the national level. Very long way to go. But I think I have the right ideas. It's just that it will entail a lot of funds, it will entail a lot of efforts, it will entail a lot of educational tours all over the place, teaching people, etc., etc. But how many warehouses do we need? How many cold storage do we need? In almost all towns and cities, we need at least one cold storage for the farmers. And there aren't any. There aren't any. The government, when I started, I'm the one espousing value chain system heavily on the shoulders of the DA. I keep telling them, we have to do this, we have to do it, because I'm seeing it already. We have to do this, we have to... They are still talking right now. Still talking. I already submitted a lot of projects, studies to them. Still talking. So, I think we really end up doing it on a private initiative. Sorry. It will be hard, but we have to do it. Locally grown. We're doing. We're pushing it so bad. You know what eats me is something that I am doing already. A lot of the imported fruits are coming through the port of Manila. They land here, they end up at the Navotas cold storage plants or Makati or wherever here there are cold storages. The traders calls me up and say, Mr. Rene, can you please provide the freight services so that we will deliver it all over the country? And I do that. Can you just imagine I do that? I provide the refrigerated container to be able to do all of that. On the reverse, I cannot do it for the local fruits. Why? Hindi nga sila enabled eh. Wala nga silang toll packing facility. They don't even know how to pack it in carton boxes. They don't even know how to pack it in plastic or whatever. Okay, bakit ganun? Let's go back to what I was saying earlier. Dole, Del Monte. Dole and Del Monte has been existing here even pre-World War II. And they've been teaching the Filipinos their own way. Makikita mo naman eh. They have packing plants. All we need to do, the concept of best practices, all we need to do is just copy the best practices and apply it to our small farmers. Is DA even doing that? No. They are not doing it. Why? I don't know. Common sense dictates that you see a best practice being done effectively in that place, you do it as well in another place so that makatake off yung lugar na yon. A couple of years back, somebody from Isabela called me up through Facebook. Sabi niya sa akin, Mr. Rene, I'm reading your postings and I would like you to do marketing work for us. Sabi ko, what? Like what? Sabi niya, I have planted 500 hectares in Isabela with pineapples. And they are the MG3 pineapples, the ones that Dole is planting. Nakakuha siya ng planting material at tinanim niya doon. Sabi ko sa kanya, imposible. Eh, bakit imposible? Wala ka namang ano dyan eh, wala ka namang packing plant dyan eh. I can only bring it to Metro Manila and sell it as domestic. Pero if you want me to export it, I can't because there is no packing plant. Why is a packing plant needed? The BPI, Bureau Plant Industry, will never issue a phytosanitary inspection certificate for it because it did not pass through a certified BPI packing plant. Now I mentioned BPI. BPI, sadly, has conveniently and lazily taken a mere regulatory function. When you are just doing regulatory function, you'll be sitting on your desk and waiting for somebody to come and bring the documents for approval or disapproval. Of course, may pangilalim yan. But that's all they do. It's all regulatory. Dapat sana, I was thinking, BPI, sana you go out of your way and you begin to create the toll packing facilities yourself. Can you just imagine, in one big village of farmers, BPI expects every one of these farmers to build up his own packing facility. You think the farmers can do that? They can. Kung ganun pala problema, bakit hindi na lang sila maglagay ng isang toll packing facility in the middle of all the villages so that all the farmers will enjoy and use it? Hindi naman ginagawa. Sad, no? You know, as I go through this journey of mine, and see all the failures and the incapabilities and the lack of direction, I am really saddened. Sadly, as I tell you all of this right now, you will be part of that sadness already. Because now you have opened up your eyes and now you will say, oh man, we need it, but it's not there. And nobody seems to understand, even if we talk to DA, it's all talk. And then you suddenly hear, nagpapahiram kami ng pera doon, binibigay namin yung pera doon sa mga farmers, pinamimigay namin kasi kawawa naman sila. They give away 5,000 pesos. 5,000 is good to eat in 1 month, maybe, but after that, what? Wala na. But if they gather all of that money and put up toll packing facilities, it will even create employment because people have to work there. People have to provide labor. Diba? And then traders like us can go to the world market and say, we're now capable of exporting red onions. We can do 10,000 metric tons. Last year, my logistics company helped the DA. There were cries in the Calabarzon and Mimaropa region of red onion spoilage. Nobody's buying it. There's so much, maybe somebody opened import permits and they're all flooding the markets. So I went to DA. I told Manny Pino, do you want me to help, sir? Sabi niya, sige, how can you help? Sabi ko, ano yan eh? That's an issue of cold storage. Diba? Sabi niya, wala kami makuha cold storage eh. Punong-puno na raw, wala na kami. Oh, eh, sir, industry ko yan. Let me do it for you. So I worked it out, and in 3 days, I went back, I have a contract. Pero sabi niya, kami ba pipirma ng contract? Hindi ho, hindi yung pipirma. Sino? Yung cooperative. Bakit? Makukuha ho ako. You know, you have to be smart about it as well. Kasi makukuha ka eh. Walang bidding. Di ba? So I went straight to the cooperative. Sabi ko yun sa DA, bigyan nyo na lang ng support yung, yung cooperative. So, the short of this long story is, we were able to accept 10,000 metric tons of red onions in the cold storage facilities that I offered them. And in 4 months, what was selling at 8 pesos farm gate was already selling 30, 50, 60 pesos. See what a cold storage facility can do? It can prolong the life of the fruits and vegetables so that you can sell it at a higher price when the time comes.
Correction. It's not what cold storage can do. It's what Pamintuan can do.
Sadly, we were able to sell, I even helped them sell it, we were able to sell all of those 10,000 metric tons of red onions in 4 months, ending in October. Come December, the price of the red onion was 200, 280 pesos. Hindi ba? Even today, mataas pa rin. So I learned my lesson. Sabi ko, next time I will keep it for 1 year. But, di ba?
But you made money.
Of course we made money out of that. Of course. But we could have made much bigger money. Kasi yung world market is already asking for it as well. Mr. Rene, can you supply me 100 container loads of red onions every month? I could have said yes, but because we already sold it out, I cannot. But this year, we will do it. This year, we will gather all of the red onion there. And so, we are going to turn this into market-driven. That is the concept that I want to push. We want to talk to the farmers and say, oh, you produce the red onions, I will already pay you 30 pesos flat the whole year so that you continue to plant it. His cost is probably 10, he makes 20 pesos, right? So he will do it. But if nobody comes to him and say, you do it at this price, he just do it because his neighbor is doing it and he's just copying what his neighbor is doing. Okay, anyway.
Sir, sorry, I hope you don't mind. It's related to this topic lang. It's just super small lang. When you talk to the farmers, out of 10 farmers, how many of them are incapable? How many of them are incapable because of a lack of confidence and trust? How many of them naman are because they're just plain tamad or no drive? That's it.
Can I discuss that after?
Yes.
Can I finish the...
Yes. Please confine your questions to clarification or repetition.
After.
We'll do that.
I will answer that. Let's just go back to it later. So, that's why the topic here I think is towards an appropriate development business model for agriculture. Because I think we are in the wrong business model. We are in the wrong business model. In fact, we don't even have a business model. Okay? I don't know if you will agree with me, but that's my assessment. We don't have a proper business model.
Point of order. When you finish by 9:15, then open.
5 minutes.
Finish it by
I'll do it faster. So I already talked about the B2B and the B2C. I will not dwell on this anymore. Domestic traders, farmers to retailers. I was talking about the B2C already for the retail. I mentioned that earlier. And the farmers, as an answer to your question, the farmers always have a leader in their area, and they follow that leader.
Yes.
Usually. So what we need to do is harness that leader, find and discover who that leader is, talk to him, because he's respected in his area, and they will copy and they will follow what he's saying. Tamad? Bakit sila tamad? Tamad sila kasi demotivated. Am I going to plant this? Masisira lang naman eh. Ba't pa ako magtatanim nito? Masisira lang naman, wala namang bibili. Like I said, when I started with the langka, the farmers come to me and say, Sir, puputulin mo na nga sana yung langka. Buti dumating ka. Just imagine that you grow a langka tree for years and years and years, and then puputulin mo lang because there is no buyer. Look at this. These are packing houses. this in our country? Packing houses. See how clean, nicely done, they're all wearing all the proper equipment and proper clothing, protective. We don't even have that. What we have are antiquated system of operations. So, paano tayo abante? I mentioned earlier about vision and DA. And I hope that in that vision, included yung word na modern agriculture. But then, if you include that in your vision, then you have to define it. Because if you begin to define modern agriculture, you will not talk about mechanization in the farm, backing passing facilities, proper logistics, etc. Because you defined what modern agriculture is. If you did not even define what modern agriculture is, even if it's there in your vision, wala. That is exactly what they do right now. They did not define it, so they are just doing on their own. Every municipal agriculture officer or provincial agriculture officer or even DA technician will go there and say, araruhin mo na lang yan using your Carabao. That is not modern agriculture anymore. What is modern agriculture in the international world? They're talking about aquaponics. They're talking about hydroponics. Words like drip irrigation, sprinkling, misting, etc., etc., greenhouses. Are we even talking about that right now? No, we are not. We're still talking about plowing the field with carabaos. So if we did not even define what modern agriculture is, how can we even reach it? Oh, even worse. I'm going to tell you something even worse. So many laws about agriculture. Do you know that there is not even a single law that defines what a farmer is? Yeah. What is a farmer? Is a tenant a farmer? Is the owner of the land a farmer? Is the laborer working in the farm a farmer? If you have not even defined what a farmer is, how can you help the farmer? Hindi ba napaka-lost naman yata natin sa agriculture natin? If you have not even defined what a farmer is, how can you help him? Do you know that the farmer in the Philippines belongs to the informal sector? I said this earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. They belong to the informal sector. Why so? Because they are not registered. There is no national registry of farmers or fishermen. So if you are not registered, you belong to the informal sector. Unlike the businessmen and the employees, they are registered under the SEC system. In the Department of that's the DTI, but in the DA there is no Farmers Bureau. And consequently, okay, another anecdote. I was talking to that vegetable farmer in my area. Sabi niya sa akin, Kuya, I'm already 41 years old. When I graduated high school, I decided to go to the farm and just do farming. Good for you. Sabi ko, no, it's not good. Sabi niya, bakit? I'm now afraid of reaching retirement age. I'm not covered with SSS. No PhilHealth, no pag-ibig, no medical insurance, nothing. When I reach the age of retirement, paano na ang pamilya ko? Paano na ako? And you know, that really hit me here in my heart. Oo nga, these guys are working so hard, toiling out there in the open field, under the heat of the sun, day in and day out to feed us. And we are not taking care of them. Am I right? They are not covered with anything. So yung app na sinasabi ko sa inyo, if that comes out, I will turn it and cover it with micro insurances and HMO and whatever. Why? I'm going to buy their loyalty, right? If I have the card, the app, and they are a member of my national registry, and I cover them with HMO, I cover them with insurance, I cover them with everything that they need, and they would not want to fall bold, diba? So we have to do something like that. Can you just imagine the failure of our DA from 1946 until now? The farmers are not even covered with insurances and social coverages. Kawawa talaga yung mga farmers natin. Niyayari pa. Ginawa pa ng coconut levy. Ginawa pa ng kung ano-ano. My litany of woes. Sorry. As you listen to me, now you become part of it. Because now your eyes are going to be open and you will realize, oh nga, hindi nga sila covered. So they belong to the informal sector. What is part of the informal sector? The informal sector, the squatters, the unemployed, yung kalat-kalat yan sa kalsada, those are informal sector. Our farmers belong to the same sector. Can you just imagine that? How badly we treated them. O ito pa, dagdag na problema. As a farmer, I go to DA, and the people there in DA will tell me, Sir, mag-member ka ng cooperative para matulungan ka namin. Because if you do not belong to the cooperative, we cannot help you. What is that? What did that effectively do to the farmer? That policy effectively created a caste system in our country, and they have become second-class citizens. You cannot help them unless they join the cooperative. Who? Stupid guy who created that policy. But why are they using the cooperative as the means to help the farmers? Because DA is providing the wrong solutions to a critical problem. What is that critical problem? Informal sector sila eh. Because they belong to the informal sector, the banks consider them high risk and will not lend them money because they belong to the informal sector. So, ang ginagawa ng DA, shortcut niya, pumasok ka sa cooperative kasi yung cooperative formally recognized yan. That is not a solution. It even impact on the status of the farmer, and we are turning them into second-class, lower caste citizens. Tama ba? Ang masakit doon, yung cooperative na i-insist niyang i-join ng farmer, nag-aaway-aaway pa yun. And because of that, failure din yun. So, did we even help the farmers? No. Nag-away-away sila. In the Visayas, mahaba na ba ako? In the Visayas, I went to Visayas. I saw, sabi ng mayor sa akin, Rene, would you like to buy our rubber? Sabi, bakit? May rubber ba dito? Sabi niya, meron. May 250,000 rubber trees kami dito. Wow! 250,000! Yes, and it's 6 years old na. Harvestable na yung latex niya. Oh, wow! Sabi ko, sige, who do I talk to? Ito, introduce niya sa akin yung president ng cooperative. Okay, umuwi na ako ng Manila, inuwan na yung mga tao ko. Later on, tumawag yung tao ko sa akin. Sabi niya, Sir, we cannot do it. Bakit? Siyempre, we have to make a marketing arrangement. We have to sign a MOA with the cooperative. Then I asked the cooperative, sabi niya, Sir, kailangan niya may board resolution, may approval ng board ninyo. Sabi ng presidente ng cooperative, wala na ako kaming board. It's just a syndicate. One person, cooperative na lang siya. And it's happening all over the country, by the way. It's not just there. Wala na siyang cooperative, and yet he still stands there and say, I am the cooperative. Isang tao lang siya. And you know what he wants from us? He wants 1 peso per kilo. Okay. So is the cooperative gonna help the farmer? No. Niloloko lang natin ang farmer.
Okay, Rene, can you make your closing statement? Because there are a lot of questions. We can save more of what you have to say for another session. But
Okay, my talk is closed.
Okay.
You can now ask questions.
Okay, let's have a round of applause for